2024 ends in 2 months. Can you believe it? Let's use the rest of the year to take charge of what you can control, accept what you can't, and seek the wisdom to know the difference. October is awash with many significant awareness campaigns that we should actively participate in. There's domestic violence, there's breast cancer, lupus, heritage, oral health, and so much more. Thanks for joining us for another exciting half-hour journey of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. Welcome. We have an incredible show lined up, and I can't wait to share it. But first, let's catch up on the news. We'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 4, 2024. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has pitched the establishment of an information technology IT hub in Jamaica to the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. Dr. Holness made the proposal during Tuesday's reception dinner in recognition of his official working visit to India. Dr. Holness says the hub would create a collaborative space for Jamaican and Indian IT companies and professionals. The Prime Minister asserts that having a near-shore IT hub in Jamaica would offer seamless business solutions to entities in the United States and other North American countries. This, he says, will allow these companies to access services and technology teams without the complexity of traveling long distance to India.
It would also mitigate the logistical challenges of time zones and travel for U.S. clients. So on both ends, from the Indian side and from the North American side, Jamaica could be that central connecting point. We would like to see the establishment of an India InfoCity in Jamaica, modeled after the successful IT hubs in India. So I'm throwing that challenge out to the CII.
The Prime Minister also proposed investment opportunities in agriculture and agro-processing, which will see Indian companies planting Indian high-value crops for export to the United States.
The value proposition of Jamaica as a near-shore light manufacturing location and one for investment in agro-processing is enhanced by the fact that companies incorporated in Jamaica have access to preferential trade agreements with the US, Canada, and the EU. And there is great space and potential for these preferential access to be utilized.
Dr. Holness also had talks with India's Minister of Health and Family Welfare. Still in India, the Prime Minister received a rare tour of India's historic heritage sites while in that country for a working visit. Wednesday was observed as a national holiday, marking the birth anniversary of inspirational and influential Indian figures Gandhiji and Shastriji. Dr. Holness visited the Parliament building and the constituency of Varanasi, home to the River Ganges and several other iconic religious and cultural sites. The Prime Minister also visited the hallowed grounds where Buddha delivered his teachings. Prime Minister Holness says the experience is very enlightening, seeing firsthand artifacts carried over and carefully preserved for the ongoing education of Indians on their spiritual and religious journey. Dr. Holness says this made him reflect on Jamaica's rich history and heritage and how important it is to preserve and pass down such information to upcoming generations. According to Dr. Holness, the preservation of artifacts will inspire national pride while ensuring that Jamaicans are knowledgeable about their past. Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, JASERT, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, is reporting a 78% reduction in the number of attempted cyber attacks experienced locally over the past year. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, he noted that the decline is attributed to increased public awareness and proactive measures to mitigate vulnerabilities. Despite the positive trend, Lieutenant Colonel Sterling says there's been a rise in ransomware incidents affecting various sectors, including hotels, financial institutions, insurance companies, and media entities. Some of these incidents have resulted in the theft of personal information.
It therefore means that If you were a client of these entities, particularly the financial institutions that were hit, then you need to be paying attention to your accounts, paying attention to your balances for at least the next 6 months to ensure that you can spot any undue or unfamiliar transactions, particularly for large sums on your accounts.
Affected institutions are being encouraged to report incidents to the Office of the Information Commissioner and to inform clients about potential data exposure, particularly in the financial sector. The Clarendon Police are encouraging community members to use public Wi-Fi hotspots allotted through the Universal Service Fund for educational purposes and not criminal activities. Deputy Superintendent of Police Owen Brown gave the charge while speaking at the launch of Wi-Fi installation in the community of Woodhall in the parish recently.
The accessibility is not for scammers. It's not for choppers. It's an offense. Serious offense for which you will be prosecuted. The opportunity must not be used either to defame other people's character. We have seen where persons may be in their intimate moments and choose to do what if they want to video. And then the other person, things have fallen out, and so they have used it to promulgate. We want to say to you that that is an offense for which you can be prosecuted.
DSP Brown also urged persons not to destroy the equipment, as they can be charged for malicious destruction of property. Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr., is encouraging senior citizens to become more technologically savvy, to be less vulnerable to scammers. The minister was addressing the graduation ceremony of the National Council for Senior Citizens Digital Literacy course in St. James recently. 37 senior citizens graduated from the 10-week course aimed at improving the quality of life for seniors by making them more technologically inclined.
The world is moving and it has evolved. And so what you're doing in terms of computer literacy and digital literacy is allowing you to function in this world that's already there. And so while we are improving your functionality, we are also allowing you to protect yourself from the scammers.
The minister pointed out that senior citizens are not the only targets of scammers, as anyone who is vulnerable or digitally illiterate could be a target.
So if you are young and don't know, they're going to prey on you. If you're old and don't know, they're going to prey on you. It just so happens that most of the older persons have the mindset that they don't need to know about it, so they choose that cohort. What is going to happen over time is that those persons will realize that you have now educated yourself. And as they do so, you're going to find that you become less of a vulnerable group.
And finally, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams is urging school board chairs to ensure their meetings are properly documented. Minister Williams insisted that this is to promote accountability and effective governance within the education system. She made the call during a board chairs training session for Region 6 at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel in Kingston.
We have provided for you a platform on which all board minutes should be uploaded so that we have a chance at the ministry to efficiently look at board minutes to see the issues with which you are contending. When we look at the stats, it is shameful. Not many boards do that.
Highlighting the need for consistent documentation, Minister Williams says the school improvement plan should be a regular agenda item at every meeting, unless an emergency session has been called.
Every single public institution, public educational institution is supposed to have a school improvement plan. I don't care how great you're doing currently, because you can always do better.
The minister also pointed out that the improvement plan should be presented at the beginning of the school year and must guide conversations and decisions of the school board throughout the year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
We are not entitled to not even tomorrow, but we got to make the most of today. And we do so by understanding that as Jamaicans, our spirit must be a spirit of unity, a spirit of purpose, and a spirit of gratitude, where we appreciate what is taking place, and we also appreciate that it never took place before. So even though we are stressed, we are blessed.
Thank you for staying with us. Memories shape who we are and connect us to our experiences. Whether they're cherished moments or even fleeting encounters, memories have a unique way of influencing our present and guiding our future. Our next feature encapsulates this idea beautifully. So let's take a moment to journey back in time.
Remember the days when people from the east side could go out on the west side and live in peace.
I was born and raised in a little district called Tangle River in St. James. So proud of Tangle River. The beauty about my halcyon days of the 70s is that I was exposed to so many different things that were creative. So we would use certain things that people would normally call trash, and we used that to be creative in such a way that we made gigs, boxes, trucks out of boxes, catapult, hopscotch. We would be creative in using perhaps the rotten banana trunk, and we call them tar. And we used to use the tar if we play hopscotch. We used to go to the bush, we go get whisks, and we make skipping rope from that, or we use perhaps the elastic band from the inner cork, or the buckle stopper, we used to call them, from the aerated water, we used to call them aerated water, but they were just bottled juice sodas. At that time, we never had inside kitchen. The outside kitchen that was made out of bamboo, wattle and daub. I hear I want come see all of that. And each kitchen had a dresser. The dresser where we wash, we put in pan, and we plate, we enamel plate, we knife, we fork, we cups, and we put it on the dresser. And there was a fireside. And so on that fireside is where, you know, the older folk would just put on the pot and you blow the fire. Sometimes smoke on your eyes until you're weak. No wonder I wear glasses in my older years. And then there were times when in that same kitchen, we used to smoke corn, the pig tripe, and put it on the kreng and smoke it. But then we used to, as children, we used to hide and use knife and cut off a piece and eat it. They were beautiful days. By 5 o'clock, you have a beard, and you have to rub Vaseline for your foot. The Vaseline them time, they don't like Vaseline today. You rub it for your foot. They shine like young gold. It was a wonder. You could actually look on your skin and you think it was a looking glass. During the holidays, when you're gonna river, gonna swim, we gonna bush, gonna look guava, saucy apple. Saucy apple is what we call Otahiti apple back in St. James. Well, in my district, saucy apple, we go look mango, we go look banana, you name it, cane. So in the evenings when dinner ready now, and them said dinner ready, your belly full. And when we look into that, it was so many different items that we needed. Perhaps I'm getting a little teary-eyed because those were precious moments, and I value those moments. And I think those were the moments that made me into who I am today. There's one thing that I'd like to see happen in this great nation, or this great enterprise called Jamaica, is where we can come to a place where we are a little bit more loving toward each other. I grew up in a time when community parenting was the order of the day. We shared everything. We respected rules and we respected authority. We had good manners. Good morning, excuse me, I'm sorry. Over time, we see that eroding. And I wish that we could come back to that place where we are grateful. We're grateful for the little things in life. We're grateful for the opportunities. We're grateful for even the small things that we have until better comes. I want to see us go back to a place where we can live loving in an environment that is conducive to good morals. I want to see this nation get back to a place where we protect our children, the women of this country, an environment that we can see things from perhaps different perspectives and we still get along, where community parenting will add value to the lives of our nation's children.
As we transition from sunny skies to rainy weather, it's important to stay informed and prepared. Here are some important tips to help you stay safe and comfortable when it's wet outside. Alexa, what's the weather outside? Check the forecast and keep an eye on weather updates through your preferred news source or weather app. Dress appropriately. Be sure to carry a raincoat or an umbrella, even if the day starts sunny. If you can, travel with rain boots too. Drive safely. Wet roads can be slippery and dangerous, so reduce your speed, maintain a safe distance from other vehicles, and turn your headlights to improve visibility. Secure outdoor items. If you have outdoor furniture, decorations, or plants, secure them or bring them indoors. Be prepared for power outages. Here in Jamaica, in the case of severe weather, power outages may occur. So, make sure to have a flashlight, extra batteries, and a basic emergency kit ready. Remember, the weather can change quickly, so stay prepared. For more information on how to prepare for the changing weather, please visit the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM website at odpem.org.jm.
When you think of mathematics, what comes to mind? It might not be your favorite subject, or perhaps it is. In the grand scheme of things, mathematics is essential. From everyday tasks like budgeting to solving complex problems in science and engineering, math plays a crucial role in our lives.
Mathematics coach at the Ministry of Education and Youth, Tamika Lodge Fenton, is championing a transformative approach to how students in Jamaica perceive their mathematical abilities. The vision is to dismantle the barriers that separate students into math and English categories.
We have several students in our Jamaican society that are struggling with basic computational skills. However, they find that they think they are not math students. They think they're good at English and they can't do math. That is not true. So we need to change the mindset of our students to let them realize that there's no math or English person. We are all able to do math and English. All of us. It just means that how I approach math may be different from how you approach math. So effort is what matters. And if each of our children understand that they're all math students, awesome. We'd have a numerate society. And that is our key goal as educators, to make sure our students are numerate, to function well, communicate with numbers, understand numbers, and be better citizens in our Jamaican society.
By instilling this mindset, the belief is that students will not only become more proficient in math, but will also become better citizens, contributing positively to Jamaican society.
Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers affecting men worldwide. It occurs when cells in the prostate gland grow uncontrollably, forming a tumor. So, early detection is crucial. In our next feature, we'll provide detailed information on what you need to know about prostate cancer, including its risk factors, symptoms, and the importance of regular screenings.
So prostate cancer is a malignancy of the prostate gland, and by malignancy I mean a cancer. And this is where you have cells that are disorganized, unruly. They don't follow the normal rules and processes of cell life and cell death. So every organ and structure in our body has to follow rules determined by genes where cells grow and cells die. But in this particular cancer, they don't follow the rules, and it happens to occur in the prostate gland.
Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in Jamaica. As it relates to cancers overall, it is the most common for men and women combined, and the most common for cancer-related deaths in men.
So it's mostly common in the aging male. We tend to screen at age 40 in this country because our men are high risk. Around the world, black men are the highest risk groups. So if you look in the US database, the highest prevalence rates are seen in blacks, and it's just not in the US alone. Even in the UK, any country where there's a melting pot of different racial groups, blacks are highest risk. And I believe in our country, our statistics suggest that the highest prevalence rate is in the 70 to 79 age group band.
So what is it that is responsible for this malignancy?
Genetics. There are some diseases that tend to be seen in some racial groups versus others, right? And whereas prostate cancer is seen all over, you know, white men get prostate cancer, Chinese men get prostate cancer as much as black men. However, the risk is higher. It appears to be more biologically aggressive in black men, and that would just be related to genes. Prostate cancer, still controversial, still investigational, whether lifestyle can prevent prostate cancer. What has the data shown? The data has shown that men who have a generally inactive lifestyle, who have an unhealthy diet, lots of fatty food, lots of processed food, not enough fruits and vegetables, may be at slightly higher risk. And therefore it is suggested that perhaps a lifestyle where one exercises a lot, eats healthier food, has a lot of these cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, you know, even at one point in time, lycopenes that are found in tomato, they were the thing. Then these men would have a lower risk of getting prostate cancer. And several trials were done to see if you could prevent prostate cancer. However, there can't be any harm in exercising and eating healthy. So we encourage our patients to do so. How do we know someone has prostate cancer? We recommend that diagnosis must be done through screening. And screening means detecting the disease before you have symptoms. So the screening test for prostate cancer, a blood test and a physical exam where we feel the prostate gland. And we can feel it by inserting a finger in the rectum and simply running our hands over the surface to feel for any abnormalities. Surely the blood test is more sensitive at detecting the malignancy, and the blood test is not diagnostic, but what it suggests is that if the levels are elevated, we should go on to confirmatory tests.
This conformity test is dreaded by many men in society and causes them to become apprehensive at the thought of visiting the doctor. But what does the good doctor do?
Listen, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. If a man decides to come into my office and says, "Doc, I'm not gonna allow you to do my rectal exam, I just want the blood test," he's gonna have the blood test done because he's there. And the blood test by far is more superior or sensitive to the rectal exam. I let him know I would really prefer to do the physical exam as well, but I'm not gonna let him go because he refused to do the physical exam.
Fears alleviated. So if you're a man of 40 years and older, you should be going to get your prostates evaluated. The earlier the better, because if a man starts showing symptoms of prostate cancer, it is usually at an advanced stage.
So let's talk about early stage prostate cancer. That is localized to the prostate and has not gone outside. It can be cured. So men can be cured of prostate cancer. Men have been cured of prostate cancer, either through surgery, where we as urologists remove that prostate, or through radiation, where radiation oncologists apply energy to the prostate over a period of time to kill prostate cells essentially. And those two methods are standard of care for cure. Does everybody who have prostate cancer need to have intervention with surgery or radiation? No. Some men who have innocuous or indolent disease, that means it was just incidentally discovered, but it will never cause any problems. And those men can have it watched. And we call that active surveillance, where we're actively monitoring them, where we're actively checking their PSA every 3 months, where we may decide to intervene if it's not quite behaving like low risk or innocuous cancer. And those men can be spared intervention or potential complications of intervention. But if the disease is thought to be significant, and this will be based on a clinical data that we have, then it can be cured. But usually cured is if the prostate cancer is localized to the prostate, if at all maybe going just a little outside. If there is spread to distant areas, to the bone, to the spine, to other organs, we cannot offer cure. However, we can offer hormonal therapy, which helps suppress the cancer, and it can remain suppressed for a very, very long time. And this suppression is offered in the form of what we call androgens, androgen blockers. They may be availed through traditionally removing the testes, done much less than before, or medications, tablets that are taken, or chiefly through injectables that are given every 3 months. Chemotherapy can be offered in the early stage for prostate cancer, combined with hormones, and you find that you have a longer period of response to treatment. My message to men regarding prostate cancer and prostate screening: come in and get your checks done. The test, the physical exam, is not painful. It is brief, it takes 5 minutes, and it's a simple and quick test to do. But if there is even a challenge, know that the blood test is far more sensitive in detecting abnormality. We need to save our lives. We need our men for our country. Come in and get tested.
This October, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining will relaunch the Urban Harvest campaign with a special focus on empowering urban residents to embrace backyard gardening. As part of this initiative, the ministry will be distributing 3,000 backyard gardening kits designed for urban environments.
We're going to be focusing a lot on the urban areas, because sometimes when we think backyard gardening, we think you have to have a lot of space. That's not the case. We've developed modules around container gardening, and we're going to be sharing those modules so that people can use their own containers, use their tiles, grow some of the vegetables that they ultimately will need.
For more information on how to apply for your backyard gardening kit, contact your nearest RADA office. We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.